Stop wasting time scrolling through endless clickbait, social media, and emails trying to keep up with the news. Instead, listen to all the news you need in just 10 minutes.
Welcome to The Newsworthy.
The Newsworthy podcast makes it faster, easier, and more enjoyable to get unbiased news on the go.
It helps us navigate the news without feeling overwhelmed.
Even when my time is limited.
So much detail and information in 10 minutes.
Listen now by searching The Newsworthy in your podcast app or go to thenewsworthy.com.
We are talking to the cast of the film Reagan, starring Dennis Quaid as the Gipper himself.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
You actually were kind of intimidated to take the role on, right?
Everybody in the world knows what he looked like, sounded like, so I did think about it.
What would you have me do?
I want you to fight. Talk about big shoes or little shoes to fill.
It's now my favorite movie that I've ever done.
We need that kind of leadership today. Well, some called him the Teflon president, the Gipper, and the great communicator. I'm talking about America's 40th president, Ronald Reagan. He was famous for his unique ability to connect with the American people. His straight talk made him one of the most successful diplomats this country has ever seen, taking on America's enemies without launching a single missile. Remember this iconic moment?
General Secretary Gorbachev, if you seek peace, if you seek prosperity for the Soviet Union and Eastern Europe, if you seek liberalization, come here to this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, open this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Now, for those of you who were not alive then, that was President Reagan challenging then Soviet Union leader Mikhail Gorbachev to tear down the Berlin Wall and give up its occupation of East Germany. Its fall in 1989 led to the end of communism in Europe. Reagan's words back then not only symbolized a call for freedom, but also reflected his unwavering belief in liberty and hope, which resonated with people not just in America, but around the world. And as the 20th anniversary of his passing approaches, his legacy continues to influence politics even today. Check out this 2024 campaign ad featuring Reagan.
Please welcome President Ronald Reagan, who has a few questions for you.
Would ask yourself, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? Is it easier for you to go and buy things in the stores than it was 4 years ago? Is there more or less unemployment in the country than there was 4 years ago? Is America as respected throughout the world as it was? Do you feel that our security is as safe, that we're as strong as we were 4 years ago? If you don't think that this course that we've been on for the last 4 years is what you would like to see us follow for the next 4, then I could suggest another choice that you have.
That's another one of Reagan's famous slogans. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? It's a question Americans are asking themselves today. Now, tonight, we're going to talk with some very special guests, stars of the biopic Reagan, which tells the inspiring story of this small-town Midwestern boy who went from modest means to a Hollywood actor, then all the way to the Oval Office. Starring Dennis Quaid as the Gipper himself.
There's nothing a retired governor can do about the Soviets, but a president, now he can do a thing or two.
Welcome to your life.
I was a lifeguard on a river.
There's no turning back.
And I learned how to read the currents. Not just the ones on the surface, but also the ones deep underneath the water. I am about to start the biggest war of this century, and I'm not going to fire a single shot.
You're gonna blow up 8 years of diplomacy.
Well, if you think that got their undies in a wad, you just wait.
What did the president know, and when did he know it?
What would you have me do?
I want you to fight.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Wants to rule the world.
Please welcome my longtime good friend, Dennis Quaid. How you doing? It's good to see you.
You too, pal.
Yeah, we talked, a couple weeks ago here.
On the podcast.
Yeah. And you're playing Ronald Reagan. And I was telling him when we talked before, I always kind of look at these things as to whether or not, particularly when you know somebody that you've known for over 20 years, I go into it thinking, am I going to be watching Dennis play Ronald Reagan? And it isn't very long into that before you stop seeing your friend and start seeing the character, which is pretty amazing.
That's quite a compliment. Thanks.
Those were big shoes to fill.
No kidding.
You actually were kind of intimidated to take the role on, right?
Well, I didn't say yes, but I didn't say no. It was like I got offered in 2018, and Reagan was my favorite president. I voted for him, and I went home and told my roommate in LA that I'd voted for him. He said, "You were kicked out of the hippies." And so I had to turn in my card right there. And so I didn't want to do an impression of him. He's like Muhammad Ali. Everybody in the world knows what he looked like, sounded like. And I did think about it. And I was invited to the Reagan Ranch, the Western White House. Reagan bought that after he was governor, and went up 5 miles of the worst road in California to get to the top of the mountain there, and came out, and I realized that Reagan was a humble man.
Yeah, it's not a fancy place, right?
No, it's not. And I could really feel him there. And like the house that they have, it's 1,100 square feet, maybe. They had a king-size bed, but it was 2 single beds that were zip-tied together. Just really. Some friends had bought that place, and they left it exactly as it was. I mean, he and Nancy's clothes are in the closet. You expect them to come back like any second. And it was really something. And then we wound up shooting there as well. It was an amazing experience. It's now my favorite movie that I've ever done.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the hardest thing about getting into that character?
There was a part of Reagan that people said was very private. This is the great communicator, that there was this place that you kind of couldn't reach in him. And I think it was his place where that he used to really have privacy in a crowd, and also the place that he prayed to God from and you meditated from. But there was little stuff like he had a crooked smile, and I think it was kind of like nerve damage from some injury. But all those little things, they kind of add up. He was in the movies, and in the studios, they teach you like how to walk. Back in those days, we'd teach you how to light a cigarette and all that stuff, so you could look really suave. And I think that Reagan studied John Wayne's walk a little bit.
You think?
Yeah.
Coming up, Dennis says Reagan and Trump have many similarities, and we'll talk about that next. But before we go, take a look at Ronald Reagan, the actor in the 1943 movie For God and Country.
Excuse me, Captain. I know Danny seems hopeless, but I still think he can be restored to useful service. I've been looking into his background. I don't know, but, well, maybe I found a key to his better nature. Good luck. Thanks, sir.
Your body is a system, and when it's running right, you feel focused, energized, in flow, but sometimes we struggle to find that flow state. Why? because there's too much static in our system, brain fog, fatigue, and inflammation. The Echo Flask clears the static by infusing your water with molecular hydrogen, a natural science-backed gas that helps your body think sharper, recover faster, and run smoother. This is more than hydration. It's better focus, more energy, faster recovery, less internal stress, and longer-term benefits that keep you sharp. When your water works harder, your whole system does too. Find your flow state with the Echo Flask hydrogen water bottle and get an unlimited supply of hydrogen water at home and on the go. Visit echowater.com/Phil and use code Phil for 10% off. That's echowater.com/Phil. Enter code Phil to save 10%. This episode is brought to you by Masa Chips. For decades, chips were fried in tallow until big corporations switched to cheap seed oils. Now, seed oils make up 20% of the average American's daily calories, linked to inflammation and metabolic issues. Masa is bringing back the good stuff with 3 simple ingredients: organic nixtamalized corn, sea salt, and 100% grass-fed beef tallow. No seed oils, no junk, just a crunchy, sturdy chip that won't break in your guac. Masa Chips is beloved by tens of thousands of customers and has been endorsed by industry-leading health and nutrition experts like Ben Greenfield and Gary Brecka. Ready to give Masa a try? Go to masachips.com/merit and use code MERIT for 25% off your first order. That's masachips.com/merit and code MERIT for 25% off your first order.
Governor Reagan! Make love, not war!
From the looks of him, he can't do either right now.
If you would come out against the police escalation, they might listen.
When did you ever stand up in front of your students and beg them not to do this? They told you that they were going to destroy the university if you sought to go ahead with this construction.
But they offered to negotiate.
Negotiate what? All this happened, Professor, the very first time that some of you who are old enough to know better let students think that they had the right to choose which laws they were going to obey as long as it was done in the name of social protest. I've had it. I'm calling in the National Guard.
That was when Reagan went to Berkeley, when the students were protesting and they were having a sit-in. He went there and took care of business. He didn't put up with the professors and what they were going for, and it was quite something.
And I think I love that so much because we need that to happen today.
Yeah.
At that university.
Yeah.
We got the tail wagging the dog. We need that kind of leadership today.
Well, it takes that kind of leadership. And the thing about Reagan, he governed by principles in the same way that he lived his life. And if you do that, you're going to make unpopular decisions, but you're going to exhibit great leadership.
Yeah.
And those principles were like from the Bible and from the Constitution of the United States. And that's what we stand on. And he wasn't afraid to do something about it.
And he personified that old saying, you can't be one kind of man and another kind of president.
Mm-hmm.
And he carried those values from his life to the presidency.
He did. I mean, one of the first things that he did, the act that shocked everybody, is that the air traffic controllers were threatening to go on strike. So Reagan just fired them all.
Fired them all.
Yeah. And it wound up actually scaring the Russians because they thought, well, if he'll shut down all the airspace in his own country, what will he do to us?
Yeah, which was a damn good question. The movie starts with the terrifying assassination attempt on the president back in 1981. Take a look at this clip. That really hits home because so many of us watched former President Donald Trump survive an assassination attempt at a campaign rally in Pennsylvania. Let's take a look at that.
Take a look at what happened.
Man, that's so disturbing. What bothered me about that is after President Reagan was shot, there's a clear picture of his head sticking up above the car as he's getting in, and there's a picture there of Trump's head sticking up again. Who knows how many shooters there are, and both presidents' heads are just sticking up after they've been shot.
Right.
We need to change that protocol. But there were similarities between things that happened, both challenges and events between Trump and Reagan's presidency.
The times are so similar to what we're going through now. There was high inflation. We had interest rates that were 20%. I know because I bought a house back then. And we had hostages, the Iran hostages. We have hostages today that no one's talking about over there in the Gaza Strip. There was a feeling of kind of malaise that we were a country that was in decline. And Reagan came along and said, no, we're not. We're going this way.
Yeah.
And we followed.
If you look at the similarities, I made a list of them. Reaganomics, tax cuts, deregulation, reducing government spending, strong impact on judiciary and Supreme Court. He was an actor versus a reality star. Democrat turned Republican. And they had differences in foreign policy. He was pro-NATO, and Trump is prioritizing national interests, is more isolationist, more ambivalent towards NATO. And
he just wants everybody to pay their fair share.
Yeah, pay up.
That's all.
Reagan was free trade, and Trump is pretty protectionist policy. So there are real similarities, which is why you're seeing the ad that you're seeing with Reagan talking and it ending up on Trump.
You know, Reagan ran really on the slogan of, are you better off than you were 4 years ago?
Yeah.
And I think that question can be asked today.
Always a good question. Coming up, we're going to meet the talented actress who stepped into the shoes of Nancy Reagan. She'll tell us why Nancy was called the Dragon Lady. Robin and I have been in that stare from Nancy when she's argued about Dr. Phil shows and told me I was wrong about what happened. And I agreed. I was there, I knew I was right, but she said, no, you're wrong. And Robin and I both just said, yes, ma'am. As we go to break, here's another clip from the movie Reagan. The clip is when Reagan was recovering in the hospital after the assassination attempt.
How you doing, pal?
Well, I don't recommend getting shot.
No.
You know, Tip, I think there was a reason for all this. There's a big job left to be done, and whatever time I have left, it belongs to him.
Have you checked your home title recently? Many homeowners never have, leaving themselves vulnerable. Scammers can steal your home title, forge your signature, and target your equity. Protect yourself from fraud before it's too late. Secure your title and your financial future today. You won't even know it's happened until it's too late. Ensure you're not a victim. Use promo code PHIL at HometitleLock.com to make sure your title is still in your name. You'll also get a free title history report, plus a free 14-day trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's 24/7 monitoring of your title, urgent alerts to any change, and if fraud should happen, they'll spend up to $1 million to fix it. Go to HometitleLock.com now. Use promo code PHIL. That's HometitleLock.com, promo code PHIL. After decades of treasured experiences and cherished moments, living your best life matters more than ever. Whether it's cheering on your grandchildren at their baseball games, planting new flowers in your yard, or simply spending quality time with loved ones, take Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies supplements along with you. Made from ingredients of 31 whole fruits and vegetables, they are free from added fillers or binders. Embrace life's adventures with confidence. knowing you're getting a wide and colorful variety of ingredients made from whole fruits and vegetables every step of the way. Start your journey with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get a free fiber and spice supplement, plus 35% off your first preferred set as a new preferred customer with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code Dr. Phil. That's DRPHIL.
To young people watching or listening, I have a very personal message for you. There's a big, wonderful world out there for you. It belongs to you. It's exciting and stimulating and rewarding. Don't cheat yourselves out of this promise. Our country needs you, but it needs you to be clear-eyed and clear-minded. Say yes to your life. And when it comes to drugs and alcohol, just say no.
Well, that was Nancy Reagan herself promoting her Just Say No movement back in the 1980s when there was a massive crack cocaine epidemic similar to our fentanyl epidemic now. Actress Penelope Ann Miller is taking on the iconic role of Nancy Reagan.
You know Washington, you know the way it works. It's politics, that's all.
They're talking impeachment!
Oh, impeachment.
Yes, they want to destroy you. They're putting you on trial, removing you from office. This isn't about politics anymore. This is about you. Everything is at stake. One more headline, one more star witness, one more arrest, and they will do it.
I have cooperated with them. I appointed a special prosecutor. I've turned over every document I have. What would you have me do?
I want you to fight.
Please welcome Penelope Ann Miller. How are you? So good to see you.
Thank you. What a nice welcome.
Well, you are welcome, and you took on quite a role.
Oh gosh, yeah, talk about big shoes or little shoes to fill.
Right.
In her case.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty daunting and quite a challenge to play Nancy Reagan.
Well, Robin and I had the privilege of knowing her, and she was a fireball, there's no question.
Yes, she was a firecracker.
Some people thought she actually ran the country at times, but she certainly was a strong influence.
She believed in her husband wholeheartedly, and she believed in his greatness, and she was willing to sort of give up the limelight. She was an actress too, and when she met Ronnie, as she called him, I think it was all about him and being a woman standing behind her man, which a lot of people give women flack for, and she was sort of vilified and called the Dragon Lady or whatever, but she didn't mind being the woman behind her man, and I think it's actually kind of a noble thing to say, hey, I'm gonna let him take all the glory, and I will do everything I can to protect him, to love him, to support him, to lift him, and I think that's a beautiful thing, and that's what she did.
There wouldn't have been a President Ronald Reagan without Nancy. I mean, what a beautiful lady. And she just embodies her. You were her. That's, to me. I mean,
that means a great deal.
It was like no acting going on.
Thank you.
How did you research for this? Because you did capture that connection, that bond. This is not a political movie, really.
It's a biopic. They were 8 years in the White House. They were the Reagan years. That's when I grew up. I mean, so it's a movie worth seeing for the historical nature, to know about this man and how he became what he became. I probably did the most research I've ever done on a role. I read about 6 books, talked to Sheila Tate, her press secretary, and many other people that she worked with or she knew. And like Dennis said, I didn't want to do some imitation, impersonation type thing. I really wanted to just capture her essence. And I owed it to her legacy. although the wigs helped, and the wardrobe, and the makeup. But yeah, it's capturing that quality and hopefully being as authentic as I possibly could. And I got to work opposite Dennis, so that didn't hurt.
No, of course not. And, you know, one of the things that I'll never forget, and I do think this is part love story as much as anything else, but Robin, you remember her at the end when he did not know her or recognize her anymore, that he still was such a gentleman, right? Even when he didn't even know who people were.
Right. When we were with her one evening for dinner, I do have to say you did a beautiful job portraying her. Unbelievable, because she was very tiny, but she was mighty in spirit. And when she left that evening, it was to go home and be with him. And she told us, he won't know I'm there, and he doesn't always know who anyone is, but I know in my heart that he will at some point this evening know that I am with him and I'm telling him goodnight. And she had tears in her eyes because her love for him was so fierce, and she just believed in him until the last minute.
Yeah, it's a love story, honestly. I was blown away of how strong their relationship was. But I think it was her daughter, Patty, said they were two halves of a circle and nobody could kind of get in there. Yeah. Maybe much to their chagrin, but it was they were a partnership. They were a true partnership, and he wrote her love notes like every day. She has a book published called "I Love You, Ronnie." I mean, who does that? Hello, guys. Start writing the love notes.
Put a lot of pressure on the rest of us, right?
Yeah. The movie in the end is really the embodiment of the American dream.
It's very aspirational.
It's important to remember. We just have to remember who we are.
Mm-hmm.
And Reagan was really great about reaching out across the aisle.
My parents grew up knowing the Reagans as well. And my parents were liberal Democrats, and they were able to party together and have dinners together and interact. And I just feel like now that nobody can talk to each other, there's so much more divisiveness. Yeah. And I didn't experience that growing up. I don't remember that.
Yeah, and I miss that.
We may not agree and we might have different opinions, but can't we just get along? And I mean,
All right, coming up, we're going to meet the actress who plays Nellie, Reagan's mother. She reminds us that behind every great president is a mother who shaped their destiny. We'll be right back. Hey, Dr. Phil here. Your savings are at risk. With the economy on shaky ground, the dollar losing value, and a $2 trillion deficit, things could spiral. Don't wait for the worst. Take control of your financial future now. I trust Preserve Gold to safeguard my accounts, and I urge you to do the same. They're the only precious metals company I recommend. What are you going to do to protect what's yours? Claim your special offer and learn how to reinforce your financial future. Visit drphilgold.com to get your free precious metals guide from Preserve Gold. With gold prices recently breaking records and analysts predicting this trend to continue through 2025, you cannot afford to wait. As a bonus, you can get up to $15,000 with a qualified purchase from Preserve Gold. So don't wait. Visit drphilgold.com today.
Any doubt in your mind that you would be able to function in such circumstances?
Not at all, Mr. Truitt, and I want you to know that also I will not make age an issue of this campaign. I am not going to exploit for political purposes my opponent's youth and inexperience.
Tonight, we are talking to the cast of the film Reagan. The film takes a look at Reagan's life through the eyes of a KGB agent, played by Jon Voight. It stars Dennis Quaid and Penelope Ann Miller, and playing Reagan's mother, Nellie, is another Hollywood icon, Jennifer O'Neill. Take a look.
I lost a child. Marriage, a career. How do you think your boy is? You know, Nell, I think I kind of missed the boat on that whole purpose thing. Maybe I'm just Jack all over again.
No, Dutch. You're not your father. Just remember to listen to that small, soft voice, the one that you can't hear unless you're alone and quiet, and he has your full attention.
Please welcome Jennifer O'Neill. How are you? So good to see you. Thanks for being here, number one.
I can't tell you. I feel like a kid in a candy shop. I have watched you forever, and everything that you stand for and everything you are doing on Merritt Street.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome.
So tell us about Nellie Reagan.
Nellie Reagan was a really very faithful mother. She told her mother that she was going to be a disciple of Jesus Christ. She raised her two sons like your Robin. And she did not have a husband such as yourself. He had trouble with alcohol. So she was kind of a single mom. She worked hard in church. She helped other people. She gave him the acting bug. She played in church films all the time. She shaped him. And I think she, until Nancy came along, and was his other gal, one of the most important influences in his life. And I say to all our parents right now, we can make a difference. We have to go to this movie to remind us that we can make a difference.
Well, that is so true. And I learned it much later that Ronald Reagan was involved in politics before he was involved in national politics, because there was quite a war going on in Hollywood at the time for the soul of this country and what was going to be put out over the airways.
Yeah, well, you had the McCarthy era. You had, we did have communists. Once the Soviet Union fell, they went into the files of the KGB, and lo and behold, they actually were trying to infiltrate the unions, especially in Hollywood, because you get a hold of, you get control of the media there. And Reagan, towards the end of his career, took the job of vice president and then president of the Screen Actors Guild, which is a job that no aspiring actor really wants to have when you go out there, and because it's politics. And that was his entry into politics. And he was fighting communism really with his fists out there with the riots that they had. And that's what sent him really in earnest in a lifelong battle against communism.
Yeah.
I did my first movie with John Wayne, and they were good friends. And he had a lot to do with Reagan becoming governor. So it's really interesting to see these icons of who John Wayne was and what he stood for. But of course, Reagan, his character, he just blows me away. I'm so honored to be in the movie with both of you.
Well, and Nancy met Ronnie because there was a Nancy Davis, another one, and the other Nancy Davis was affiliated with the Communist Party, and so Nancy was freaking out about it and didn't want to be associated with her, and so Mervyn LeRoy, who was a big producer at the time, who she was working for, said, well, I know someone, I know the president of Screen Actors Guild, Ronald Reagan, and she was like, and I kid you not, because I saw her say this, she goes, you could meet Ronald and he could help you, and she goes, well, that would be just dandy. So I think she was already a smitten kitten. And there's a scene in the movie that you'll see when we meet that's all about that. But anyway, I was just going to say really quickly, you remind me, and I mean this in a compliment, you remind me of Nancy. I mean, surely, you are that rock for him.
Thank you.
Yeah, let me tell you, there are times that she reminds me of Nancy.
Yes, compliment. You go, girl.
Thank you. They say behind every great man is a woman.
Well, folks, we've got a 14-year-old with a Ronald Reagan cutout in his room. Now, talk about a Gipper obsession. When your bedtime stories are about trickle-down economics, you know you may have a future president on your hands. So we're going to meet some young people that are actually fascinated with some very positive role models. We'll be right back.
Hi, Dr. Phil. My name is Rita Elliott, and I am a presidential expert. I just want to say that I love your show and I love you, but especially, I love this guy. He is one of my favorite presidents, and I just want to let you know, if there's anyone in the cast that needs tutoring about him, I'm your guy. Thank you, Dr. Phil.
Let me introduce you to Reed, a remarkable 14-year-old passionate about all things presidential. Now, this young man is not just an Uber fan. He loves history and especially Ronald Reagan. So your wish is to meet all living presidents, right?
Yes.
So how many have you met so far?
I met Jimmy Carter, Bill Clinton, and George W. Bush.
Really?
Yes.
And how'd you pull that off?
Well, we went to Jimmy Carter's Sunday school lesson. Mitch McConnell wrote a letter to George W. Bush telling him about me. So one Saturday morning, my dad was looking through the mail, and there was a letter, it said from George W. Bush. And he put his personal assistant's phone number in there. And this was a Saturday, so we had to wait until Monday to call. And she said, oh, yeah, we've been expecting your call. Yeah. It's so crazy. And
they work on weekends, too, those personal assistants. I could have called them earlier.
And then I'm a 2-time cancer survivor.
Oh, my.
And so, yeah. Thank you.
Right?
Thank you. And so my make-a-wish was to meet every living president, so they were able to get me set up with Bill Clinton. So.
Well, I'm so glad to hear that, and congratulations on being a survivor twice.
Thank you. Thank you.
And how are you doing now, health-wise?
I'm doing really good. I'm doing really good.
Well, that is so great. You have quite a spirit, and we can't introduce you to Reagan, but you've got...
That's right.
Got this guy.
Yeah, you got that guy right there. And pretty good substitute. Now, the cast of Reagan might believe they can outsmart a 6th grader in presidential trivia. However, they might underestimate the skills of a well-prepared 6th grader. Now, coming up, we're going to put their knowledge to the test, but before we go to break, get a sneak peek at your competition.
But Ben, who is the 22nd president?
The 22nd president is Grover Cleveland.
And do you know anything interesting about him?
He had a rubber jaw.
Why did he have a rubber jaw?
I think he lost his jaw.
Loves the presidents of the United States. As you can see, he's dressed up as Adams today. Okay, ready? Who's that?
Clint. Tyler. Roosevelt. Kennedy.
Good job.
Eisenhower. Washington. Obama. Adams. Cleveland.
Who's that?
Franklin.
That was 5-year-old Smith playing John Adams and his mom, Jamie, and he can name every president. Now, we have another remarkable young guest joining us, 11-year-old Ben. Now, this kid is a real whiz when it comes to presidential trivia, and he's got a special passion for President Reagan. So how'd you get interested in Reagan?
Well, it really started when my dad got me, like kind of a board for Christmas, and like had all the presidents on it, and I was like curious, and I saw Reagan on there, and I was like, oh, was this guy a good president? Like, was he good? What did he do? And all that, so.
My dad got me some M80s. I mean, different era, different time.
Yeah.
All right, so look, let's play the boys versus the grown-ups here. A presidential trivia showdown. Now, here's how to play. I'm going to ask a question, then you each write down your answer on your whiteboard.
I'm a better actress than a student. I'm just putting it out there right now.
I don't have my glasses.
I will try my best.
Neither do I.
This is like Celebrity Jeopardy, and there's one category. All right, first question is, what state was Ronald Reagan born in? Okay, what do you got?
Dixon, Illinois.
You had to show the city. What'd you put down?
Illinois.
Illinois, what'd you get?
Indiana.
Indiana.
Close.
Okay, what did you have?
I got Illinois.
Illinois?
Illinois.
Oh, man, all right. So
Poor
perfect
Jennifer.
over here,
I'm fired.
one missed over here. All right, next question. In 1987, Reagan famously urged the leader of the Soviet Union to tear down this wall. What wall was he referring to?
And can we say what president in Russia? Or what was, never mind.
No, you can't do that. All right.
Extra bonus points.
All right, what did you put?
Berlin.
Berlin Wall.
Berlin Wall.
Berlin Wall.
Berlin
We
Wall.
know you know.
Berlin Wall.
Berlin Wall.
Berlin Wall.
Everybody's perfect. All right. Next, what is the term commonly used to describe Ronald Reagan's economic policies that emphasize tax cuts, deregulation, and a reduction in government spending? Oh, it feels good to say that.
Oh, no.
Wait, I don't know if I'm spelling it right.
Phonetics is
Yes,
okay.
yeah.
All right, you get to go first this time. Running out of time. Don't know this one? Okay. Ben?
Reaganomics.
Got it.
That sounds good.
What did you write down? Nothing. Okay, you two cancel each other out. What'd you have?
Reaganomics.
I know what you've had.
I just went the derivative trickle down.
Yes.
Goodness.
It's right, but it's not right.
Yeah, okay. In what year was Ronald Reagan the target of an assassination attempt?
Oh.
Okay, what do you got?
1981.
1981.
What did he say? 87?
1987. No. 81, 81.
March 30th, 1981.
You are such a show off. All right, last one. After leaving office, Reagan revealed he had been diagnosed with which disease?
I can't spell either.
That's okay. We'll start with you just because I want to see how you spell. Oh, yeah, you got it. All right, Alzheimer's.
I don't know if I
Alzheimer's. 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 Okay, so I gotta say, everybody did pretty well. And the winners are the boys. All right.
Hey!
All right.
Good job, man. You did good.
All right, each of you is going home with a gift certificate, so you can buy something special for yourself or for your mom, whatever you want to do, however you want to do it. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you enjoyed meeting this amazing cast of this movie.
So, Phil.
Yes?
Don't we get anything?
You get to tell everybody you got to meet Reed and Ben.
Yeah.
All right, coming up, final thoughts. Well, we've been talking about the movie Reagan, and I've said, having seen this movie, that it is a biopic, but when you watch this movie, everybody takes away something different. And I know for me, I took away two things in particular. One was the relationship between the couple and how they navigated life together through some amazing and interesting times. And it's really inspirational in that regard. But it really was inspirational and aspirational about a time when people could differ and still treat each other with dignity and respect and still come together and talk. They could disagree passionately, vehemently, with conviction, and then say, hey, let's go to dinner, let's walk the halls of the Capitol together, and not personalize it in such a way. And that, to me, is something that we really need to aspire to.
I agree.
I agree.
I work with all different kinds of groups, and sometimes I do training with law enforcement and talk about negotiation. And I always say the number one thing you should do when you're negotiating with somebody is say, we have differences, we'll get to those, but first, let's make a list of everything we agree about.
Mm-hmm.
Let's write down everything we agree about. And what everybody always comes away with is they didn't realize how much they had in common, how much they did agree about. Everybody wants so many core things that are important, and sometimes it just comes down to how we get those things. Those are the differences. It's not what we want, it's how we're going to get there. We always talk about the good old days. There were problems then, so much like we have today. Watch it not just as a movie, but for some of the messages that it carries. And you guys did a great job. It's such an important movie for America.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah,
I really do.
Thank you for your support.
It's interesting that mainstream media doesn't want to talk about this movie, do they?
We've had some pushback, and it's so baffling to me why the mainstream media doesn't want to go near it. They're so scared, it seems, of that there's an agenda. And when we made this film 4 years ago, we served a whole term practically in the White House by the time the movie came out. And we didn't plan on it coming out during an election year. But I think everything is so heated right now that people are scared that somehow we're pushing an agenda.
We're kind of hitting some kind of nerve because Facebook has banned advertising, and a couple of my interviews that I've done in connection with Reagan and
censorship.
It was 40 years ago he was on the ballot. So,
well, we're going to talk about it. We're going to keep talking about it. Hey, Dr. Phil here. My network, Merit TV, has it all.
Now, let me blow your mind.
Merit TV's got the news that matters.
The selection of a new pope.
Entertainment you crave.
Busted.
Everybody in a good mood today? And live events.
Surprise. What am I, chopped liver?
With serious punch.
Big shot!
Go to merittv.com and download the Merit TV app today.
1, 2, 3.
Table read.
The Table Read podcast is like watching a movie with your eyes closed. Incredible production, totally immersive.
Get a behind-the-scenes look into the Hollywood process as real actors sit down and bring scripts to life in Table Read.
If you've never listened to Table Read, I say check it out.
Table Read brings you established and new amazing writers with their scripts brought to life by fantastic actors.
So check out Table Read. You never know what you might hear or who might show up.
So check out Table Read.
Come for the stories, stay for the laughs. It's unlike any other podcast. Listen and subscribe to Table Read today on Apple, Spotify, iHeart, or wherever you get your podcasts.